In the shop today we have a bride of PinBot that the client started servicing on his own, ran out of time, and it stood in his house for a while, and then eventually he called me and said, put it together please. So let's take a closer look. Parts in a box. So in the lin bin you can see a couple of ramps and stuff. A ramp, a mini playfield, a couple of small odds and ends. I'm hoping it's all there. Yeah. The playfield has a bit of wear in this area, as to be expected. I'm just going to clean it up and polish it. This stuff must go. Wow. Anyhow, so the broken rubber will come off. All the ramps will come off as usual, so I can get to this and clean it up. This is how you open a machine. You unlock, and if you've lost the key, just drill that out or pick it with a hairpin and a small screwdriver. Use a small screwdriver to just put tension on that barrel, and use a hairpin to tickle the plungers inside, and it will open quicker than you'd like. Anyhow, when you open the coin door, there's a lever here. If you pull it to that side, it will let go of this, which is called the lock bar. You lift that out, and if it had glass on, it would slide out this way. And now you can lift the playfield to check underneath. So inside the cabinet we see, I don't know what that is, but it could be shells of seeds, which means someone made a house here. I don't see any other evidence of rodent, but I'll have to vacuum this out and check it. I've already salvaged a couple of loose bolts and screws and washers and stuff that's fallen off the playfield into the box. Looking at the bottom of the playfield, all in all doesn't look too bad, looks clean. Flipper mechanisms are still nice and loose. Nothing's melted or burnt. Inside the box, we notice the rubber on the plunger is completely gone, so it's been making contact with the balls, steel to steel, which will probably nick the balls, which will cause damage on the playfield in the long run. We also have a broken barrel spring. The plunger springs are right. And then we'd like to see what's in the back box. Inside the back box, doesn't look as busy as some other machines. Because it doesn't have a dot matrix screen controller, it's got just 7 segments. The 7 segments are driven directly off the CPU board. CPU board that side with the battery holder. Let's talk about batteries. I've already removed some of the batteries here, and the bottoms of them you can see have started with their corrosion nonsense. And especially on this one you can see a little bit of battery holder sitting on the bottom there. So there's already damage to this machine, and the batteries haven't even leaked substantially yet. These are alkaline. And I would suggest you put in carbon batteries, but those are so hard to find nowadays. You might as well go alkaline, because what I'm going to do is to install one of these. Wire it directly to the board, but put long leads on so it can be mounted over there somewhere. So when it leaks, not if, when, it'll drip somewhere there and not damage any expensive stuff. So once I put a plug on there, we'll fire it up and see what comes to life and what does not. I think we might be in for a surprise, so let's hope not. So that is an overview of Bride of PinBot, also known as the machine.
White people launch it. Yeah, not all of them. Certainly to the white community, but a great number of them can be. It's obviously with people based on their skin color, but I would argue that that's probably a muted definition that we would have to add systems of power in that definition. This is where it's interesting because there is this redefinition of racism. Now it's a matter of power.
So what did we do on this machine? Well, we reassembled it. And we touched up the paint on the frame here. And then we found some issues while reassembling it. So the first thing I'm going to cover here is those little plastic, well, they're actually polycarbonate ramp extensions that were cracked up and the ball would get stuck here. I've got them on both sides. So I fixed the ramp. This post was, it's hard to tell, that post was ripped out of its mounting, so we fixed it with a hole and a dowel and drilled a new hole and put a T-nut on the back end of that, and that little wire form right behind it was missing, so we made a new one. There was a couple of these missing, so we found what we could and we added a little post here to stop the ball from getting stuck here, going through that way instead. Other than that, we just cleaned and reassembled, put in new rubber, replaced the broken bulbs. There were a couple of posts that were gone as well. Replaced that post. There was another one, I just can't remember where it is. Try to keep the blue ones on the visible side of things. And then we got some new cards for it. Let me show you underneath what we found there. Let me show you from the top what we found here. When you shoot the ball, it falls into one of these slots here. That's the skill shot, the plunger skill shot, and then it rolls down onto a switch there, and then that kicker arm kicks it up into the thumper nest below the mini playfield here. Now that switch was bent, the switch wire was bent in such a way that the ball wouldn't lie up against the kicker arm. which meant that the kicker sometimes missed the inertia of the ball to dampen it a bit, and it kicked quite hard against the end of the slot there, which meant that the link finally broke, which we only found after we played with it for a while. So, new rule, your machine can only go back to you once I've put on a high score. And the reason that is because if you don't do that, then you haven't tested it properly. So underneath we did this. This is the switch in question, so we unscrewed it and bent the wire down a bit. It's a lot better now. And that plastic link between the plunger and the arm snapped off, so I made a new one. I did find that we had to tighten up these hinges. These barrels were coming out and the hinge would go behind the barrel, which made the Playfield lie in the cabinet at an angle. Alright, so that concludes what we did here. I can't remember what I did in the Backbox. I assume that I put new batteries on a battery holder. Let me just check. It comes out that way. And it gets stored over here so it doesn't fall off. Yeah, I did. So these are the wires that I've soldered onto the CPU board, and they connect to the new battery holder there. So when they leak, they'll just drip down onto nothing. When you open up a machine like this, you get a fright. You think, oh shit, it's missing a board there and it's missing a board there. Well, it's not, because it's just using 7-segment displays. So you end up playing pinball instead of watching bullshit on a dot matrix screen. I love this. So the machine, Bride of PinBot, going home. Thank you for watching.